The Young and the Restless, spoilers. The atmosphere in the room was thick with tension, a silence that felt suffocating as Lucy stood with clenched fists, glaring at Chance. She had barely registered the words he had just spoken. Her mind raced, unable to fully grasp the magnitude of the accusations being hurled at her and her father, Daniel. It wasn't just shock that overtook her. It was pure, unfiltered rage. "Are you out of your mind, Chance?" Lucy finally exploded, her voice cracking under the weight of her fury. "How dare you think for even a second that we had anything to do with Heather's death? That's not just wrong, it's sick." Chance remained stone-faced, his posture unmoved by Lucy's outburst. He was used to pushback. In fact, he expected it. But something about this case had gotten under his skin. He didn't enjoy dragging Lucy or Daniel into this mess, but the evidence, however circumstantial it seemed, couldn't be ignored. Not when the stakes were this high. "You can be as angry as you want, Lucy," Chance replied coldly. "But that doesn't change the fact that Heather's blood-stained cloth was found in your father's room. How do you explain that?" The question lingered like a dark cloud. Lucy's face flushed as she glanced toward her father, Daniel, who stood silently beside her. His expression was one of disbelief, tinged with something darker, something akin to fear. She had no explanation for the bloodied cloth, and neither did Daniel. But that didn't mean they were guilty. There had to be another reason, another explanation that Chance simply wasn't willing to see. "We don't owe you an explanation for something we didn't do," Lucy spat back, her voice sharper now. "You're supposed to be a cop, but instead, you're acting like a thug with a badge, trying to bully us into a confession for a crime we didn't commit." Chance's eyes narrowed, his jaw tightening as he leaned closer. "Then tell me, Lucy, why was the cloth found in your home? And don't give me some excuse about how it just appeared there." "I'm not stupid." Lucy's heart raced, her chest heaving with the weight of her growing anxiety. She could feel her father's gaze on her, but she refused to let fear consume her, not in front of Chance. "We don't know," Lucy shouted. "We don't know how that got there, okay? But you can't just—" She paused, struggling to find the right words. "You can't just accuse us of something this horrible without actual proof. This isn't how justice works, Chance." Chance sighed, rubbing his forehead in frustration. He hadn't wanted it to come to this. Lucy was right. He had no solid proof, only circumstantial evidence that painted a bleak picture. But it was enough to move forward, enough to justify detaining them until they could figure out the truth. And for now, that's all. "I don't need your cooperation, Lucy," Chance said calmly. "And I don't need a confession. I just need to make sure we cover all our bases while this investigation continues. You and your father are being taken into custody for questioning. It's temporary, but neither of you will be leaving until I'm satisfied that you had nothing to do with this." Lucy's blood ran cold. Her mind reeled at the words. Temporary custody? She had heard those words before, and they were often the prelude to something far worse. It didn't matter that he said they wouldn't be held forever. Chance was making it clear that no amount of reasoning, no defense, and certainly no bail would set them free anytime soon. "You can't be serious," Lucy murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're arresting us? For what? For something we didn't do?" "You're being detained for questioning," Chance repeated, his tone firm. "There are procedures to follow." Lucy's anger surged again. "This is outrageous. You're accusing us of murder based on nothing but a piece of cloth? And you're willing to ruin our lives over it?" Chance didn't flinch. "I'm not ruining your lives, Lucy. I'm making sure justice is served. If you didn't do it, then you'll have nothing to worry about. But until we know for sure, you're both staying put." "Unbelievable," Lucy muttered, shaking her head. She felt cornered, trapped in a nightmare with no way out. But she wasn't going to stand there and let this happen without a fight. "You'll regret this, Chance. I'll sue you for wrongful arrest, for harassment, for everything. You think you can just—" Her words were cut short as Chance turned toward the door, signaling for the officers outside to come in. Two of them stepped in, ready to escort Lucy and Daniel to the station. Lucy's heart sank deeper into despair, her mind racing with possibilities. She couldn't believe it had come to this. How had things spiraled so far out of control? Daniel, who had remained silent throughout the confrontation, finally spoke up. "Lucy, it's okay. Let's just cooperate for now. We'll get through this. But Lucy couldn't accept that. No, Dad, this isn't okay. He's treating us like criminals, and we didn't do anything wrong. Her voice wavered, the weight of the situation becoming too much to bear. As the officers moved toward her, Lucy's mind was already spinning with thoughts of how she could fight back. She needed help. Someone who could see the truth, someone who wasn't blinded by suspicion like Chance. But who? Who could she turn to in this town, where trust was such a rare commodity? Nick? No, he was too wrapped up in his own problems. Phyllis? Maybe. But Phyllis wasn't always reliable, and Lucy couldn't afford to place all her hope.